Hello, welcome. I'm the Grandmaster Alvar Alonso, and I present you the second volume on the Caro Kann. Here we will be focusing on most of the sidelines of the Caro Kann. With my experience playing it, I felt like especially ED5 should be maybe one of the most concerning lines. But here we have a lot of alternatives, a lot to play, but I will focus mostly on knight f6, which I've been playing recently, and I feel it adds a twist to different kind of positions. And after here we have also considering the fantasy variation, which it feels that ADIC recently has been pumping up some new ideas, and it's not that easy, because usually after e5 I feel this is very healthy setup. This kind of stuff, like white usually would go for bishop c4, and this is not really dangerous at all. But white has different ideas with, depending on where the bishop develops, that can get confusing with move ordery. And also we will be covering some strange lines that I feel that are quite underrated. For instance, here e5. I consider this a new trend as well, that in many positions white wants to play, whenever we play c5, white wants to go for c4, and then get these strange King's Indian attacks positions that the engine loves quite a lot, and you can get very bad positions from early on, and I feel this should be much more interesting. I mean, only Mamedov is playing this reliably, and yeah, basically, especially if you are prone to play with c5 against d4, it's a very interesting idea for white. And also we will be covering like the strangest variations, which is ed, and d4, and here white has a lot of fun ideas, like for instance h3. We will be covering this the Digley-Wren approach with the reversed Ragozin. We'll try to be creative, like even c3 that was, if I recall correctly, was popularized by Cornet. And basically we'll also be covering some more dark sidelines that I feel that they could have the space in this theory, right? There's like, for instance, I faced this strange move, for instance, in an European classical tournament. I was like, this, for instance, would force us to enter some kind of King's Indian-ish variation, which obviously a Caro Kann player shouldn't be expected to know. Like, so basically, white can try to mess with us in a very different ways, and the practical value of the Caro Kann shines especially here in most of the sidelines. And I feel like we'll try to push forward to get some creative stuff, especially for white, now that the meta in chess is more based on creating new ideas and being just a very small idea that the answer to that idea is different from the most usual answer, so it creates a practical issue. And now that the Caro Kann is it's a very good shape, I feel this is a very important task to do here. And here we'll be again focusing on these sidelines, and I'll just say that here in the first volume I want to remind that we will be covering these three variations, which are the classical, the advanced, and the most annoying one, I guess, for the Caro Kann players, which is knight f3 d3. So without further ado, I hope you enjoyed this volume, where you might find a lot of ideas as well for white that could be interesting. And that's usually how I work with courses sometimes, that it's useful for black in this case because it's a Caro Kann course, but most of the times you get ideas like, okay, this is actually tricky, you need to know quite a lot, so this could be interesting as well for white. So I hope to see you in